What's happening, team? Had to give you guys some excellent updates on the FIGHTERFITX athlete performance system. As you may or may not know, I've been working on the FIGHTERFITX custom apps for the past 6-7 months now, and going through the different versions of the FIGHTERFITX assistant coach, the calorie, the posture, the 7-day jumpstart, the fitness testing, and also the posture, and to have the video analysis for technique. It's been squat, shoulder health, gait analysis with the forward and backward running on the video analysis, my personal squat as well, and to making sure that the video is capturing the biomechanical leaks. For example, when I was doing my back squat, my right hip shifted, and the live in the gym, I uploaded it to the app, and it caught that right hip shift, and it gave me exercises for correction. And that is real world experience, and especially being out of town at the Ritz-Carlton here, to have it in play, to making sure that when you guys and gals are on your own without the video group coaching, or with me access to inside the school community, that you guys are, I am fully confident that you guys can use this app when you are traveling, when you're at your at-home apartment gym or your own gym, or even traveling. And it is, I've always held a high standard with my business, with my coaching aspect, with the knowledge and the research that I put into what I do for my client. It is, I put myself on a high standard, and I want to make sure going into this online world is that this app has that world-class performance, the design, and to making sure that it is, you guys and gals are having your fitness goals delivered. And so at the beginning, the FIGHTERFITX assistant coach, I've been working with it at the gym, in Vancouver, at home, talking to the assistant coach by saying, I went on a 10K run, my right hip is feeling this, gave me the corrective exercises. I cross-referenced, looking at YouTube videos or even online research for the exercise option. And yeah, no, it is powerful. It is powerful stuff, and it is on point. And I am so happy with that, to allow the app to be exposed to the world on a grand scale. So having the fitness testing, because you always have the fitness testing, and you want to make sure that you are on track. And if you have a baseline at the very beginning of when you started to how you are month or day 30, 60, and 90, and how to progressively overload, or overload as in to make it harder for your workout or for the exercise in general, but to have that, to know that journey, because it is, I see, just being in the industry for 17 years now, and it's just like, yes, we are working out, the clients are achieving their goals, they are feeling happier, and they are feeling better. However, we also have to know, we have to map out their journey, your journey, to show you how far you've come, to show you, like, look, take a look at month 1 on how your performance was to month 3, 6, 26 months after, and to show that to you, our client, and having this ecosystem and having the online custom apps to really highlight your performance, but also what we do what I do, what FIGHTERFITX is built upon, is that professional aspect. Yeah, so having my coaching aspect put on in a digital format. Yes, we have heart rate, target heart rate training, the basal metabolic rate, your posture, your fitness testing, exercise creation, the workout design, the kickboxing incorporated, the calories, the meal plan, and having The video analysis, that is huge. That is huge. I've always, in previous videos I've uploaded, I used, other apps, my Coach's Eye, and I would film my client, and it was such a beautiful app where I can like really scene by scene or frame by frame, I can see where the lower back shifted in a deadlift, or when they were doing the concept 2 rower, when they were doing the 10, 11, 12 catch and lean back, 10, 11, 12, or one, or whichever it was, I was able to see it, and I can show my client in the gym, in person, or after the fact by screen recording, and taking a look, hey look, this is where your low back tweaked, or if you take a look at your ankle or your knee when you're doing that lunge, you're at this position, and that's where we have to correct. And now having that here, using my back bodyweight squat in the gym, and it caught my right hip shift, or having another client doing a shoulder mobility exercise and comparing the angles of the first attempt or the first assessment to assessment number 2 a couple months down the road, and to showcase either the progression or the advancement of that angle, or showing, okay, you know what, we are still stuck in this position. So what can we do to correct this? What can you do as a client to making sure that we are on a path in a healthy time frame? Okay, so that is having all of this component into an online digital format. It took a little while, but I am so happy with the result of having the assistant coach, having the National Academy of Sports Medicine optimal performance training protocol with phase 1 stabilization, phase 2 strength endurance, phase 3 muscular development, maximal strength in phase 4, power in phase 5, and of course the FIGHTERFITX proprietary number system 1 through 16, and of course now incorporating the yoga flow and recovery stretching, having the coach's notes, talking within the app, saying, you know what, I went on a 10K run yesterday, I did it in this time frame. It was my fastest, and but today my right hip is slightly off. So please give me a workout addressing or working around, or to loosen up my low back or right hip. And I have the equipment checklist of body weight only, dumbbells, bands, mini bands, kettlebells, TRX, med balls, foam roller, heavy bag. I can be at the Ritz-Carlton and I can scan my environment. Now this is what I have. Please give me a workout around this area or with this specific equipment. Or if I have a question on, you know what, I don't know how to do this glute bridge variation by Technogym, take a picture of it, upload it, and the coach will talk with you and give you the information that's needed to use that machine. Now, working with it, I've also come across, like, you know what, I have to make sure that, if I am using the FIGHTERFITX assistant coach, I was taking screenshots because I like that workout. I'll make sure I want to do it again and save it again. So I took a screenshot. Now I've added to the app, I can heart the workout and it'll save it in an archive, or athletes, personal favorites workouts, so I can continue working on that specific 28-minute block. I've also added, sorry, the dog here. So the favorites, archive, and also too making sure that, it has memory of a logged workouts as well now. So it has up to, I believe, I have to double check, up to, it's quite a bit. The memory's quite a bit now. So it logs down. So for example, let's say, I was working out today, shoulders, legs, I have a landmine, med ball, quiet herky, and the next day, I was at the Ritz and I plugged in again, or day 2 or day 3, and it kind of gave me a similar workout. I'm like, you know what, I just did this one on the fly. I already did this one yesterday, so I want to modify it and change it out. Right, so now the assistant coach will know what you've done, what you've completed in the past 7 days, so it will give you a different variation, or making sure that we are hitting the full body, or give you a more customized approach to the workout session itself. So that's added into it. There's far more into it from working with it and what I've added. So we have the milestone phases, phase 1, day 1 to 30. So these boxes, you can't see it right now, but basically it has the memory. Like, back in the day when I first started at Fitness World, being the personal trainer, oh man, so I would have a binder or a folder, and client will come in, I'll mark everything down, I'll mark all the workouts that we did in that workout, the weight, the sequence, how we did it, not how we did it, but like just the flow, the sequence, like being an in-person or working with a big box gym and working with other trainers that are on the same team, as opposed to independent trainers where it's competition. Yeah, it's just very, very disheartening. But I digress. Working with a team, if the squat rack is taken, I'll have to switch things out a little bit. So I'll mark that down and write it down. And what did that person do? So 2 days later, 3 days later, I'll have to go back and take a look. What have they completed? Flip the page, write down, okay, they did this weight, that way, this weight, that way. Mark it down on paper. I've also had to, back in the day when I first starting out, was target heart rate training. So I would have the heart rate strap and I would have my watch. I would hold on to the watch, but they would wear the strap, and then after the workout, they'll just wash it with soap and water for my next client. And I would have their target heart rate training zones, and that's specific for them. And then making sure that we are staying in a certain certain beats per minute during the workout. And fast forward to then transitioning from paper to the iPhone, and then now, of course, now we have the memory of the workouts logged, of how you felt. So at the end of the workout, there's progression or regression with the exercises. That's another thing I came across when I was working out. For example, let's say a backflip burpee. It never said that, but a backflip burpee, knee tuck, single arm. Okay, well, that's a little tough on the fly. I know what to do, so I'm just gonna do a traditional burpee. Now, built in, there is the workout itself, a exercise. There's a progression or regression of that specific exercise that's visible. All right, and of course, at the end, now there's a post-workout chat, where you can say, at the end of the workout, when you hit complete, how was the workout? How do you feel? So when you talk and input that information into the app, it'll remember that. And when you work out on the next one, it'll go back in its memory and say, my right ankle was kind of fatigued doing the roundhouse kick, or I stubbed my hopefully I stubbed my toe. It should work. I stubbed my toe freaking in the living room, so please give me something where it's not as plyometric or not as much of jumping. And the assistant coach will understand that and give the workout around that. I know I'm talking a little long here, but that is the assistant coach, the heart, the archive, the favorites, so just the favorites. And what else is there? Scan the environment that's been added. The yoga and stretching has been added. And of course, what we got going on, that there is a built-in timer. The interval training every minute on the minute. You can customize the duration of your work rate or your rest period. And of course, too, now another thing I've added, so there is a Q&A chat. So when you have the workout, it gives you a workout design for the 28 minutes. Once you toggle into the Q&A chat and talk about a certain exercise or any questions you have about that specific blueprint, you can talk to the app as if you're talking to me in person, and it will look at what's been toggled in the workout generation and it'll give you that answer. Or if you have any questions on functional nutrition, tactical hydration, long-term training habits, how are we refining your elite protocol today? So it is asking you what questions do you have. Years ago when I was doing research, I would go to the library, the Vancouver Public Library, the Coliseum looking one, and I'd just spend I love doing it. I spend hours in the library doing research on what other coaches are doing, in their workouts and how they program designing. And yeah, so now you have at your fingertips at your cell phone or web-based, the web page portal here, and talking to it. And you know, what is intermittent fasting? You know, what is, you know, glycemic index? You know, what is, how to properly do a deadlift? What if I tweak my lower back? What does that mean? All right, so you can have that within the app. Now we have the 7-day fueling. Another huge one here. High performance athlete macro collaboration. It talks to the St. Miller Gior formula. So we have your age, weight, height, your activity level, and of course, you know what you want to do for. Do you want to do a fat loss, steady fat loss? Do you want to do maintenance, muscle growth? What is your diet preference? Balanced, vegan, ketogenic, paleo, carnivore, low carbohydrate. Generate the 7-day fuel protocol. That's another thing too I've added. So with the workout coach, the assistant coach, now, you know, like I recall years ago I came across a formula where for kickboxing, it would say on an estimation, it would say, okay, well, how many minutes of continuous effort did you do in that kickboxing session? Times it by this, and that will be your estimate calorie burn. And I couldn't find, it was in my notes somewhere, and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, okay, now let's have once the assistant coach gives you a workout for that 28 minutes, it'll give you that calorie estimation burn for that given workout. Now, when I had, prior to this performance master system here, the FIGHTERFITX calorie and the coach, they were separate entities. They were separate apps. And like I was thinking, like, well, I want them to talk to each other. I want them to know, like, okay, if I do this workout, what recommendations should I have to recover, to making sure that I am staying on my goal of steady fat loss or muscle growth. Okay, I just did this workout. What should I eat? And now they should, you know, apps, there's always, you know, bugs, but they should talk to each other. And now that they do. Now the 7-day, or sorry, the meal planner, the calorie assistant coach here will talk to the workout. So they talk to each other now, and of course, coach dietary notes. Now this is another major win for FIGHTERFITX. Right, so like the other apps will just have the workout. Well, let's keep that separate. But anyways, now we have dietary notes and restrictions. So if, for example, let's say if you do have allergies or specific, maybe perhaps you're talking to a nutritionist and you want to work with FIGHTERFITX. Now from that nutritionist notes, you can put in that information. Or if you do blood work, or if you do any sort of hair analysis, and this is what your biofeedback or mechanics needs, so you can put that into it, and it'll work with you. Okay. And another thing too is strategy offline, accountability and progression. There should be. So that's the 7-day meal plan. Generate the meal plan. Now, of course, it should be working in here. Another thing too is taking a picture. So, like, we have certain apps where you can scar the QR code, and it'll populate, or it will give you a graph of what you are eating. That's the same thing we have here. All right, so we have log today's performance. We have the day, the logged calories. Now add photo. Right, so we have today's meal and physique photos. And that's another thing too now. When I first started out with a client for our consultation, I would take a photo, front facing, regular clothes, and side and for behind, and of course, a flexed position. All right, so now we have that inside the app as well. So we have photo upload, front, side, reverse, flexed. We have that as a tracking system now as well too. So you can take a look at day 1 to day 120 and see where you're at. Another thing too is having, just like the other apps where you take a picture or you scan the QR code. Now If I'm at the Ritz-Carlton, I can take Andy Ammo, and I can take a picture of my food, upload it. It'll give me a calorie estimation. Or I can talk to it and by saying, you know what, I am at this restaurant. This is what I ate. And take a picture of it. It'll upload to the app. It'll give you the calorie breakdown and weekly executive. Yeah, so it'll give you the breakdown. You can talk to it and take pictures throughout the day. Take a picture of the food that you've eaten, and it'll do a wicked estimation of what the macros are on that given plate, and that'll go towards your daily calorie expenditure or your daily calorie intake. Okay, so that's another huge win, is having that feedback, that interface where you can talk to the app and see where it's at, and you can compare. So when you have the breakfast, lunch, taking pictures of it, they're saying this is what I ate. Please log it into my daily expenditure or daily macronutrient reserve. So we have logged calories Wednesday, select the day, add photos, weekly summary. So submit completed daily logs first. Once you have logged training and calorie metrics for the week, click below to generate your comprehensive summary. With all of the craze, and well, I shouldn't say craze, this is a great movement towards health and wellness, is having the wearables, the smart watches and the Fitbit, and is having the summary and understanding, okay, well, where am I at and what have I done this past week? Because when I was watching a TV show, and the coach is like, okay, well, let's see what you've eaten all week, and we'll take a note of it. And for my clients, when I come through, take a picture for the next 3 days of every meal you've eaten. Okay, give me that as an example of what you do, of what you eat on your own. So with this now, back to the TV show. So basically the TV show was like, okay, so, all right, Ryan, you've submitted your photos for the entire week. Let's see what you've eaten. So they'll come into the room, they'll come into the dining room, and every single morsel of food was on the table. And it was just a mountain of food. Okay, this is what you've eaten all week. All right, so obviously it's more aggressive in nature, but it's having, okay, what did I eat? This past week, how did I feel? Right, so how did I feel? How was my performance? Right, how did I sleep? How was my performance? When I have sugar, that's when I know I have a horrible sleep. Right, that's when I have headaches. I was having a mocktail. I never have mocktails. And I had a mocktail, and I was just like, my head was throbbing. Like, I never get headaches. Why? The mocktail. Right, so we're just having the input we get will have the house on solid foundation. If I skip a nail, or if I misread or mislog a measurement on a door frame or the foundation or the structure of the house, the whole house is in jeopardy. It is challenging at the start. Every system is a challenge at the beginning. When you learn how to drive, that's a challenge in the beginning, then it becomes second nature. When you know at the beginning here, what am I eating throughout the day? Well, how many calories is that, right? And once I look at it, okay, well, this is the calories, this is what I've eaten. Okay, well, next week, let's portion control or substitute for a different meal, right? So even with the FITX the calorie here, I took a picture of the banana bread. I love Kim and Ellen's Kirk specifically, their banana bread. At that version of the app, I took a picture of it, I uploaded it. I said, I want to eat this. So it said, okay, well, based on your basal metabolic rate, if you're going to eat this banana bread every second day or so, during that 7-day meal plan, it'll incorporate that, right? So if I was talking to another client too, like, you know what, I want to dial in my nutrition, but I don't want to be chained to my app or to always measure my food. I want to live life and be happy. Okay, well, I want my banana bread. I'm going to have my banana bread. So I'll lock it in for my 7-day meal plan. And then once I know, I understand, okay, shoot, that's a lot of calories that's in that banana bread. So what can I do to counteract that intake? I can work out more, have 2 workouts, walk longer, eat less calorie dense food, right? And make up for it. Now we have that. Now we have that in our FIGHTERFITX app. And what else we got going? Compile weekly coach summary. We have the photos for the meals. We have photos for body composition. We have the FIGHTERFITX favorite heart, like the Q&A coach, the posture. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it has, like I said, the injuries, focus of areas, specific goals. It's going to work with that. And now we have the FIGHTERFITX Vault engine. Right? So this is another key aspect. Taking a picture or a 15-second video of you doing a push-up, it'll analyze it if you want that. Of course, certain clients might want to have a little more fine-tune in their deadlift or their squat or their pull-ups, or their injury for a pickleball tournament. They might be recurring for their lower back or mid-back tightness. And I will need to see a video of you doing a certain exercise to making sure that, okay, well, is it your ankle? Is it your knee? Is it your hip? How is your plank looking from the side profile? All right, so now we have the fitness, our fitness testing, the body weights, the big 6. We have squats, push-ups, partial sit-ups, supermans, plank jacks, burpees, the number of repetitions in a 6-minute cap with a 30-second break. We add that to the mix, add that to the graph, to the dates. Now, another thing, it should work, is, like I said, having everything talk to each other. So once I log this and I add in squat technique, that's the video analysis, select image or frame, upload technique keyframe, video link. So the video link will be the push-up or the squat. Log that in. Now what we have here, so for example, it should work. So if I'm doing push-ups and I'm maxing out on my push-up and I'm doing great, but my Supermans, the super back extension, reverse posterior chain. So if I have high push-up reps in that 6 minutes, but really low Supermans, Superwoman. Now when I log it in, the coach should see my results. And if it sees that, okay, well, Ryan's really strong in the push-ups, very weak in the Supermans. Okay, what can we do to address that? So it should look and be able to see what's happening within this performance system. That's another major win, is having it all integrated. I was listening to a YouTube, this is where the idea came from. I was listening to a YouTube coach, or not even, no, it was just a client. He was talking about online fitness coaching apps. And he was saying, like, you know what, we have all this material, all this information. But it was information overload. So how can we stay on track with everything? And that's what I was kind of thinking to in the back of my head. I want everything to talk to each other, just like how you're talking to me. But it's just a subset of my coaching ability to do this online. And of course, when we have video group coaching or in-app messaging, right? So just having the ability to making sure that you are safe doing the push-ups, and they talk to the coach and the FitX Calorie to give you proper nutrition